Marco Pierre White, one of the original bad boys of the culinary world. An absolute master of chopping things quickly and tying dirty rags around his head. And the guy is an absolute legend of cooking and one of the greatest Norse stockpot salesmen on the planet. He's the chef who made Gordon Ramsay cry, and personally I love him, so let's recreate one of his most famous recipes, chicken chasseur. Now let's go! Now in the video, Marco Pierre White starts off by flouring up some chicken breasts, and his have the skin on, mine don't, but that's absolutely okay. Just keep in mind if you have that skin on, even if you sear it crispy, once it's cooked in that sauce for a while, it's definitely gonna lose that crunch. And I would say, just based on personal experience, I think thighs would be really good here just because they cook better in sauces. They're much more forgiving. Not that it won't be good with breast, but I feel like I'm gonna have to pull this off at that perfect moment to make sure it's still tender. He also mentions that he doesn't season these because he gets all the salt from the Nor stock pot. So as we're doing a Marco recipe, I'm actually gonna recreate it as closely as I can. And speaking of creating things, I actually just created a gaming channel. Here is my current setup, as you can see. Well, it's not exactly done there. It's gonna be, just subscribe to the channel. It's gonna be sweet. Okay, and here we go. I got a medium heat pan, olive oil in. How much olive oil you wanna put? It's your choice. And our chicken goes in. Make sure when you're doing this, you lay it away from you. So if you splash that oil, it's splashing on your cameraman, not you, even though he's over here. It doesn't make any sense. A little crowded, but we'll get away with it. And after just about 3 minutes, our chicken is nice and golden brown. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a flip, and we'll sear that other side. After 2 minutes on the other side, we'll add a touch more oil in the middle, and we'll drop in our finely diced shallots. And we'll do our best to cook these here in the middle until they're softened up a little bit and slightly translucent. The next thing we're gonna add is a little bit of alcohol. You can leave this out if you don't wanna cook with it. We're starting with brandy. This is what Marco does. And he says, this is kind of a cool trick, not to pour it right over the top of the chicken, because he says the raw alcohol will sit on the chicken. I'm not sure how much sense that makes if you just flip the chicken over, but I like that. We don't want to sog it up. A little bit of brandy, accidentally just poured it right on the chicken. Oh my God. And white wine as well, just here around the edge of the pan. Let's see if this will light up. Wow, kind of surprised that's not lighting up with all that brandy. Interesting. I actually don't have any Nor stock pot for this video. Those things are hard to find in America. You gotta order them online, but I'll just be using the American equivalent, which is just some bouillon paste. Because sometimes convenience just wins, like getting incredible fresh roasted coffee delivered right to your door, which you can now do thanks to the sponsor of today's video, Trade. And as someone who really loves brewing coffee at home in the form of espresso, I can really appreciate great beans, and that's why I love them so much. Trade is a coffee subscription service that delivers fresh coffee from over 50 of the best roasters in the country right to your door. And it doesn't matter if you're new to coffee or you already know your favorites, you can just take their short quiz and they'll handpick the perfect coffees for you. And if that first bag isn't quite right for you, no problem. Trade will replace it for free until they nail it. Trade's prices are on par with grocery store brands, but their quality is just next level. I've been using Trade for years now, and at this point, I've seriously lost count of all the different incredible brands of espresso they've sent me. I seriously feel like each one is topping the last, and plus with Trade, you're supporting local roasters, which is also amazing. The latest espresso beans they sent me were from a company called Verve out of Santa Cruz, and let me tell you something, as soon as I opened this bag and gave it a whiff, I knew it was gonna be extraordinary. My preferred drink is just a double shot of espresso sweetened with a little bit of honey and poured over ice with oat milk. Right now, Trade is exclusively offering my listeners 40% off your first order at drinktrade.com/ThatDudeCanCook. That's drinktrade.com/ThatDudeCanCook for 40% off your first order. Thank you, Trade, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the recipe. And once your booze has reduced down to a very syrupy, thick concoction, this is when he adds his stock pot. Again, I'm just doing a little bit of bouillon. Should get us a really similar effect here. In it goes. Now in this recipe, Marco uses tomato juice and he cuts it with browning. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. He says just use a little. We're just gonna do it until we can match the color of the one on the video. Marco's definitely looked a little bit darker than this, so in we go with a little more browning. Man, you know what? To be honest, his was darker than this, so he definitely put more. That's kind of a lot of browning. His was even darker, but I'm gonna call it right there. That's enough browning. The stuff is pretty strong. So that's going in right after the chicken bouillon. At this point, I'm just gonna let this simmer away on the stove while we prepare the rest of the dish. While that pan heats up, let's try to figure out exactly what browning is. Here's the ingredients: caramel color, sulfites, water, vegetable base, and a bunch of other stuff. Is this? What is this? What do people do with this? You know what? It's a gravy starter, yeah, but we put it in oxtail. The fact that the main ingredient is caramel color is a little bit alarming, if you ask me. Before proceeding, we just need to do a little bit of veg prep. Let's start by chopping up some mushrooms.
There's nothing like monosyllabic answers, is there?
Nope.
There's no point in doing this, Marco.
Well, fine, you can go. The door's over there. All I've got to do is make the sauce. That is what I'm being paid for. Not being paid for anything else, to make the sauce.
I was engaging you in something, so...
Sorry, I didn't want to cut myself.
You can listen and you can cooperate.
No, I can't. I can't, I'm sorry.
I understand your grammar and I understand
If you wish me to cut myself on screen, then I don't mind. I'll do it for you. I'll do whatever is expected of me. You want me to chop the chicken? I'll chop the chicken. You want me to chop the mushroom? I'll chop the mushroom. You want me to make the sauce? I'll make the sauce. But don't expect me to sell my heart. Don't ever expect that. Pan's nice and hot, medium-high heat, touch of olive oil going in. And we're gonna start by adding our sliced mushrooms. And after cooking this down for a few minutes, we're gonna go ahead and add our parsley and some diced tomatoes. Those are just Roma tomatoes with the seeds removed. And I didn't see Marco put any salt or pepper in this, so that's what I'm doing. We're recreating a dish. So if it's not good, don't blame me, dude. It's just stock pot days. Those were his stock pot days. Now, before we finish this dish, here is my best Marco Pierre White impression. You can make the dish however you like. The choice is yours, but there is one thing you must use, and that's a Knorr beef stock pot. One moment. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, Marco. Now to finish the dish, we're gonna add some tarragon. Love it or hate it, I love it. And on with our mushrooms and tomatoes. I'll simmer for another 2 minutes and we will call it a day. And there she is. I'm just gonna finish with a little fresh cut chive for a splash of green. And we can get Marcus in here and give this thing a taste, see if it's really good. All right, Marcus, here we go, dude. Chicken chasseur.
Marcus Pierre White.
Here, some more sauce.
Slop.
All right, we don't know if this is gonna be good, all right? We're calling it how we see it. We did the recipe exactly like he did, except we didn't use a Knorr stock pot. Has brandy, has white wine. Let's see if the chicken breast is tender. Well, the chicken's a lot more tender than I thought it was gonna be. Alcohol definitely helped with that.
I thought we were gonna be cooking the shit out of it.
We did cook it for a while, but it's definitely not bad.
You think we could have used salt?
I think it could take a pinch of salt for sure. This isn't bad. I can see how this would be really nice with like some pasta, some orzo, polenta, mashed potatoes, whatever, some vegetables. But is it as good as all the other saucy comfort things we've done on this channel? No. Not even close.
It's like thin chicken parm. No cheese. I don't know. It's whatever.
I would just leave out the browning. I don't want that crap in my food. Brandy's okay, but I would just stick with wine. A little tomato paste toasted off would be good here. Chicken thighs instead of breast would be good. It's not bad. It's not great. You know what I mean? Like
when a Michelin star chef cooks you a meal, it should taste a little better than this.
Having said that, I've tried a few of his recipes from the Knorr days. I know he's doing these videos for a company, but a lot of people don't know that Marco Pierre White actually learned how to use these stock pots and stock cubes in 3 Michelin star restaurants before he opened his own restaurant. And so he was already doing that kind of stuff. So people say he just did it for the money, but he was already using stock pots in his cooking.
Guy's the man.
Regardless of anything, he will always be the man. Make it something else. Thanks for watching today, my friend. And if you're a fan of written recipes and good directions and all that stuff, I've got a ebook down in the description that's called Master in the Making. You are the master chef in the making. I will help you get there. And if you want to keep learning today, here's another Marco Pierre White video, and here's another one of my favorite recipes from my channel. Until next time, you know I love you and I'm out.